It's a nice thing to do. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
This evening, we gather for one of the most beloved traditions in the life of our congregation, the Sanford J. Ettinger Memorial Lecture. And before we turn to the fullness of tonight's learning, we pause to honor the heart of this moment, Susie Ettinger, and the legacy of her dear son, Sandy. Susie, your devotion to this series continues to be a gift to our community. Year after year, you bring to Congregation Shalom voices that challenge us, inspire us, and open our eyes to the world. But even more than that, you transform memory into blessing. Sandy's life, though heartbreakingly short, was full of curiosity, intelligence, compassion, and possibility. He loved learning, he loved the arts, he loved community. He invested himself in Milwaukee with generosity and purpose, and those and all who knew him remember a young man with a bright mind and a kind heart. And through these lecture series, you have ensured that Sandy's values, his passion for knowledge, his commitment to justice, his spirit of inquiry, continue to shape our congregation. And it is a true joy to help sustain this legacy, but also to help plan and think about who the scholars that you want to bring in is one of the true joys of my rabbinate. So thank you, Susie. So tonight we honor Sandy and we honor you with great gratitude. And we're also delighted that this year's lecturer is Steve Wallace, who many of you know well. Later in the service, I'll offer a more full introduction, but for now, let me simply say this. Steve has brought his creativity, his imagination, and his heart to countless corners of this congregation. And tonight, he'll share a story that is surprising and uplifting, the unlikely journey of Ghana's first gourmet chocolate bar and the Jewish values that helped guide its creation. He likes to joke that he isn't Willy Wonka, but let's be honest, he's as close as Congregation Shalom is ever going to get. A visionary with cocoa beans in one hand and ethical imagination in the other. So we're grateful, Steve, for your presence tonight, and even more grateful for the ways you help us see what it means to create value in unexpected places. And finally, we extend a warm welcome to Pastor Janine Oakes Doherty and our friends from North Shore Presbyterian Church. Thank you for worshiping with us in fellowship and friendship. We look forward to joining together soon for our annual Thanksgiving service, and your presence tonight is truly a blessing. So may this Shabbat open our hearts to gratitude and learning and memory and peace. And so we're going to turn in our service to page 10 in your prayer book, the blue Siddur that you might have in front of you, as we join together in an appropriate song for this evening, Hine Ma Tov, how good and how pleasant it is when brothers and sisters, when siblings can dwell together in peace.
Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet ahim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet ahim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, ya la 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 la. Hine ma tov, ya Yalalai, lalalai, lalalai. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
It's a great joy now to invite Rabbi Abby to step forward as she is going to kindle the Shabbat lights for us this evening. And Rabbi Abby, you bring much wisdom and knowledge and to our community and to our congregation. It's only right that you should light these Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Let there be joy, let there be Shabbat peace, let there be Shabbat. We turn now in our Siddur to page 20. Page 20, and there you'll find the prayer L'chadodi. L'chadodi is a prayer that was composed, or a poem that was composed by the mystics of Sfat. When they would begin their Shabbats, they would begin it on outside of that beautiful community, that beautiful town at the bottom of the hillside. And as they sang this poem on their way to the Ha'ari synagogue at the top, they would sing L'chadodi. So it is a tradition and a custom that as we turn to the final verse of L'chadodi, that we rise together and that we face the door that we came in, and when we say Bo'i Kala, which means to welcome the bride, we bow in both directions on those words. So let's join together in the singing of L'chadodi, which can be found on page 20.
Yalalalai l'chadodi, yalalalai likra kala, yalalalai p'nei Shabbat, p'nei Shabbat nekabela, shemor v'sachor, b'ribor echad, hishmiyanu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'litilah, yalalalai l'chadodi, yalalalai likra kala, yalalalai p'nei Shabbat, p'nei Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat, lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habrecha, mirosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machshav tchila, yalalalai l'chadodi, yalalalai likra kala, yalalalai p'nei Shabbat, p'nei Shabbat nekabela, hit'oreri, ki va'orech kumi ori, sir daberi, kevod Adonai thanikla, la 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 lecha dodi. Ya la 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 likra kalam. Ya la 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 b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat nikabela. Boi v'shalom atere bala. Gam b'simcha u'sohola. Toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala. Yai lai lai, ya la 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 lai lecha dodi. Ya la 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 lai likra kala. Ya la 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 lai b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat nikabela.
You may be seated. We continue now on page 25. And Jacob left Beersheba and set out for Haran. Coming upon a certain place, he passed the night there, for the sun was setting. And taking one of the stones of the place, he made it his headrest as he lay down in that place. He dreamed, and lo, a ladder was set on the ground with its top reaching the heavens, and lo, angels of God going up and coming down on it. And lo, Adonai stood up above it and said, I, Adonai, am the God of your father Abraham and God of Isaac. The land on which you are lying I will give to you and to your descendants. And your descendants shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread out to the west and the east and the north and the south. Through you and your descendants all the families of the earth shall find blessing. And here I am with you. I will watch over you wherever you go, and I will bring you back to the soil, and I will not let go of you as long as I have yet to do what I have promised you. Waking from his sleep, Jacob said, Truly, Adonai is in this place, and I did not know it. He was awestruck and said, How awe-inspiring is this place? This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. It's true that in our lives we often find God, we find the divine, we find purpose in unexpected places. Let's hope that the synagogue is not one of those. But there are many places in our lives in which we might find that there is meaning and depth of purpose. So we turn now to page 26 and join together in the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yikada v'yikada shemei Rabbah. Amen. V'yalma divrach yirotei v'yamlik malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael bagala uv'yizman kariv v'imeru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lamei almaya yitbarach v'yishabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yinaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudasha brichu le'elalim min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata damiram b'yama v'imeru amen.
I would invite you now to please rise as able as we turn to page 28 for the call to prayer, the Barchu.
Yai la lai 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 lai. Yai la lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Lai la lai 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 lai. Lai
We turn to page 31, and we read together from the top of the page. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. We continue with Ahavat Olam on page 32.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amecha Avta, Amcha Avta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limarta, Otanu limarta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shokbenu, U'kumenu nasiach b'chukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem negeh yomam v'layla, negeh yomam v'layla, ve'ahavat ha'atasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael.
We turn to page 34 for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated as we turn to page 36 for Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta
et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanacha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitacha בתחתיך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. We read responsively at the bottom of page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations shall be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
מלכותך רעו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומיום, זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
We turn to page 43, and we read together at the bottom of the page. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. We turn to page 44 for Vishamru.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
rise once again as able as we turn to page 46 for the Amidah.
Adonai tzefatai tivtak ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibur v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem, Leman Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibur Leolam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol atah Rav leHoshia. Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechakel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somek Nothim V'Rofei Cholim, U'Matir Hasurim, U'Mekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, U'Mido Melach, Melik Memit U'Mechayeh, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, V'Ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kdeshim b'chol yom yihalelu kasela, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated. We turn to page 55, and we read together from the top of the page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day, and may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mikadesh HaShabbat. And we read together at the bottom of page 57. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levadcha b'yir'ah na'avod. We read together now from the top of page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. We turn to page 60 now for a prayer of peace, Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Ki Atohu Melech Adon, Lecho HaShalom. Ki Atohu Melech Adon, Lecho HaShalom. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. V'tov b'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, O Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam.
Even as we sing together a prayer of peace, shalom, and shlemut, wholeness, we recognize that there are those among us who are not feeling entirely whole on the Shabbat, but who are instead in need of healing, whether that be healing of body, of mind, or of spirit. And on this Shabbat, we are thinking in particular for healing of these members of our community. We think of Steve Teplinsky, Fern Drescher, Bruce Sherman, Gershon ben Avraham, Pesha Bluma bat Esther, Elliot Lubar, Mark Kleinerman, Miriam bat Rachel, Rachel bat Devorah, Shira bat Velvel Vomalka, Yisrael Mordechai, Deanna Duker, Rachel Zarim, Raphael ben Avraham v'Sarah, and Mordechai Aharon ben Yitzchak Aryeh v'Bela. And if there is a name that you would like added to this list, please do submit it through the online link. We have reset the list for the new year, and so we are happy to receive more names to add to our list. So in honor of all those whose names I mentioned and all those whom we hold in our hearts for healing, we turn now to page 253 for Mi Sheberach.
Mi Sheberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
With words of peace and healing on our lips, we now take a moment for silent meditation.
We are going to forego the sermon for this evening to allow Steve to have time to offer his remarks at the end of the service. But I'd like to invite Steve Wallace and Rabbi Abby to open up the ark doors that are behind me as we turn and our service to page 282. That's page 282, and rise together as a community as we turn to the words of Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hako, l'atid gedula l'yotzeh breshit, shelo asanu kagoi haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu כחומונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתוקקים ומולים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We remain standing now as our hearts turn to memory as we think of dear ones who have entered into life eternal. Particularly in our hearts and minds, we are commemorating the period of Shloshim, the 30-day mourning period, for Charlotte Atinsky, Ruth Goodman, Phil Gruber, and Stephen M. Pash. In addition to those names, so too do we think of those who've passed in seasons gone by, for whom we mark their yahrzeit this evening. We think of Sally Pearl Oskotsky, B.B. Burkhoff, Jerome H. Berman, Dennis Blackman, Fern Blatt, William Soralski, Sonia Cortez, David Daniels, Sandra Fetterman, Alfred Fiel, Arthur Friedman, Ben Gelman, Norman Gill, Harold Gimbel, Marvin Glickman, Lillian Goldberg, Bernice Gruber, David Heller, Kevin Howenstein, Shirley Jacobson, Lawrence Karch, Edward Coffer, Sigmund Kaufman, Esther Lacombe, Randy Lapidus, Barry Levine, Emily Luber, Sylvia Luber, Dorothy Lubotsky, Rose Margolis, Rosalind Markowitz, Edward Matris, Sue Mazer, James Minash, Velma Minash, Touraine Nash, Regina Neufeld, Gilbert Offenhartz, Eli Paler, Edward Paley, Paul Pinsker, Bernard Plotkin, Barbara Pozarski, Sarah Raffel, Rose Rosenberg, Stuart Rothman, Alvid Irving Rotman, Rose Safer, Howard B. Sapiro, Doris Shermer, Reuben Sharp, Gary Shovers, Tilly Smith, Mindy Spitz, Anna Toplinsky, Louis Topol, Norman Weiss, Nathan Werner, Dr. Norton L. Zerum, Philip Zerum, Sarah Zerum, Della Zimmerman, Arthur Zitrin, and on this evening especially, we remember Sanford J. Ettinger. If there are names that should be added to this list or names that should be pronounced differently than I did, please do call those names as I look in your direction. May his memory be for a blessing. May his memory be for a blessing. His memory be for a blessing. May her memory be for a blessing. In addition to the names of all of our loved ones, so too do we think of all those who died due to war and or terrorism, all those who died in defense of this nation and allied nations' ideals. We think of all of those who perished due to the terrible viruses of racism and xenophobia, as well as all those who perished during the Holocaust. Our griefs and sympathies are mingled as we turn to words sanctified by memory, words glorified by hope. The Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, can be found on page 294. That's page 294, and we recite these sacred words together. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shmei Rabbah, B'alma divrach hirutei v'amlich malchutei, B'chayichon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Leolam Ulamei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei Dekudesha B'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush bechata v'nechemata. Damiran b'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say Amen. You may be seated. I'm going to share just a few announcements. First off, we want to welcome everyone to the Sanford J. Ettinger Memorial Lecture after services this evening. So Steve Wallace is the guest speaker, and I'm going to introduce Steve, so I'm going to forego the rest of that announcement. The Violence of Hope learning series with Milwaukee's Reform and Conservative rabbis will conclude next week at Congregation Shalom. So please join us for the last session. That's on November 11th at 7 p.m. Congregation Shalom will present L'Dor Vador, passing the song to the next generation. Congregation Shalom is excited to announce our partnership with the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at UW Milwaukee. We'll be offering high-quality adult education experiences for our members. Join us on November 12th at 10 a.m. for our first class, Come From Away, a 9/11 story. So please check your email on how to register. It is a story that is very, very dear to my heart. Saturday, November 15th is the family movie night featuring the movie Tangled. Join us at 5 p.m. for Havdalah, followed by a pizza dinner and movie. Congregation Shalom and Milwaukee Jewish Federation are partnering for the Transgender Day of Remembrance on November 20th at 7 p.m. Nate Looney is the keynote speaker, and our own Shai Weiss will moderate the event. You can sign up on the Federation's website. Celebrate Shabbat from generation to generation with us on November 21st for our Lador Vador Community Shabbat dinner and service. Dinner begins at 5:30 and the service starts at 6:30 p.m. It is a great joy to see all of our young families participating in our services. The 69th annual Joint Thanksgiving service will be on Sunday, November 23rd at 7 p.m. Is that right? 69 years? It's pretty extraordinary, and it will take place at North Shore Presbyterian Church in Shorewood. We're collecting new books to donate for the organization next door, so please do bring your new books. I think they're supposed to be children's books, but so please do bring children's books. Women of Shalom is selling Mahjong cards. Women of Shalom receives a portion of the proceeds, so please check out our website for your weekly email to purchase. Every Friday from 11 a.m. till noon, join us for coffee or tea at Shalom Shmooze in a casual setting to simply be together, sharing conversation and building a community. And join us on Saturdays at 9 a.m. for Torah study and 10 a.m. for community Shabbat services. We enjoy a community lunch together following services. So look for further information on all our programs in Pivar Foyer and watch your Shofar, emails, Facebook, and the webpage for all of Shalom's happenings. So thank you and Shabbat Shalom. Now I get to introduce Steve, because it really is my honor to introduce this year's Sanford J. Ettinger Memorial Lecturer, Steve Wallace. For many congregations, a guest lecturer is someone visiting from far away. But for us, tonight's lecturer is someone who comes from deep within our own story. Steve has been a part of our Congregation Shalom for decades. He grew up in this community. His family's roots here run long and deep. And over the years, Steve has become not only a leader in our synagogue, having now attained the wonderful position of past president, but a partner, a teacher, and a visionary presence in our midst. Tonight, though, we gather to hear another dimension of Steve's leadership, the global, creative, and entrepreneurial side, the side that looks at the world and sees possibility where others see obstacles. And Steve is the founder and president of the Omanhini, is that right? Cocoa. You wouldn't tell me if I was wrong. Cocoa Bean Company, a business that has reshaped the global cocoa trade by insisting on dignity, fairness, and partnership. Omanhini was the first company to export premium single-origin chocolate from Ghana as a finished product, not a raw commodity to be processed elsewhere, but a gourmet chocolate bar born entirely in the country where the cocoa is grown. That is an act of economic imagination and moral courage. And this was not a corporate strategy dreamed up in a boardroom. It began with relationships, with curiosity, with a respect for Ghanaian partners and their expertise, with a determination to create value in unexpected places, not by extracting, but by empowering, and not by taking advantage, but by lifting up. And like I said at the beginning of this service, if Congregation Shalom were ever to have a Willy Wonka, it would be Steve. Not because of the chocolate, really, not because of the chocolate, but it would be because of the vision, the willingness to dream, the ability to imagine a world that is more equitable, more creative, and more deeply connected. And we have been the recipients of Steve's dreams here at Congregation Shalom as well. Which is why I'd like to do things in a different order, because we're going to call you up in just a minute, Steve. But Megan and Paul have brought a surprise closing hymn for this evening for our service.
Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to 3. Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to to change the world. There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
Thank you, Paul and Megan. So I forgot to add, Steve has served as North American project manager for Niche Cocoa and played a key role in bringing the largest African food and beverage investment in U.S. history to Wisconsin. But beyond all of that, Steve is a mensch, thoughtful, curious, generous with his time, committed to building a future worthy of the people that he loves. So Steve, we're proud of the work you've done in the world and proud of your leadership here at Congregation Shalom and proud to welcome you, not just as our lecturer, but as our friend. So please join me in welcoming Steve Wallace.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Most heartfelt welcome to our guests from the North Shore Presbyterian Church. We certainly do look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks at your house of worship for our Thanksgiving service. And in addition, I want to make sure you're welcome to attend the Norman and Ethel Gill Scholar in Residence program that happens in April of 2026. This, along with the Sanford J. Ettinger Memorial Lecture tonight, comprise Shalom's 2 signature lectures and reflect our belief that active engagement with this world, rather than the world to come, is what matters most in Reform Judaism. In my family, there are rules about gift giving. Some rules are clearly stated and some simply understood. I'll share an example. Back in the 1970s, my father, who loved the outdoors, gave my mother, on the occasion of her birthday, something shiny, something bright, something mined from the depths of the earth, something that reflected the incandescent power of the sun. He gave my mother an aluminum canoe. A canoe, a gift so unabashedly self-serving that my mother dissolved into fits of laughter. To this day, if a gift even remotely appears to be an item that the gift giver enjoys as much as the recipient, well, out come the family canoe jokes. But in the cosmology of gift giving, I want to recognize the singular generosity of Susie Ettinger, the sponsor of tonight's Sanford J. Ettinger Memorial Lecture, and to recall the remarkable and far too brief life of Sandy Ettinger, in whose memory we gather tonight. Sandy had a keen and precocious intellect, and his clarity of thought, his curiosity about the world, and his capacity to dive deep into complicated subjects, and his vision for what philanthropy might accomplish, were apparent even as a child. Sandy loved art, and he loved the artists that created the art. And he enjoyed, even in his 20s as a young man, spending time with seniors. And he felt an unusually deep obligation to imbue the golden years with dignity, with meaning, intellectual heft, and kavod. Sandy, I believe, would have loved the fact that his name adorns a lectureship that promotes conversation among the most thoughtful, engaged, and learned people in our community. That's you. Susie's generosity can be seen here in many places in our sanctuary, with a handcrafted table over here that pays tribute to her twin sister, Sally, and to the intentionality that Susie brings to everything she does, from impactful gifts to numerous organizations in the Jewish world and without, and beyond, It's a non-sectarian donor and supporter of so many causes in our community. And I think it reflects so well on the Jewish people. Those of us fortunate enough to receive her handwritten note cards and letters will treasure them for the rest of our lives. I've never thrown one away, Susie. Stay with me. So there are no canoes with Susie Ettinger. Your generosity is the real deal. Thank you very much, Susie. I'm flattered to honor your son's memory. So here we are at the Harry and Rose Sampson Sanctuary at Congregation Shalom. It's the center of the universe. I simply remind you that in some cultures, the center of the universe is considered to be where you are at that particular moment, and here we are. The Torah doesn't waste words. When it repeats itself, we pay attention. Tzedek, tzedek, tirdof, justice, justice shall you pursue. It's not a polite suggestion. It's a command in motion. Pursue it, chase it, keep asking. When I was a child, my parents would send me off to school with the same charge many of you give to your children. Ask good questions. So let's start tonight with 2 questions. Question 1, what country makes the best chocolate? Most of us would say Switzerland or perhaps Belgium. Okay, question 2, how many cocoa trees grow in Zurich? The answer is none. Cocoa grows only in the tropics, near the equator, not in alpine valleys. And yet the wealth from chocolate is captured in Europe and the US, while the farmers who grow the beans in West Africa receive only a tiny fraction of the value. Where is the justice in that? Indeed, only 6% of the $130 billion annual cocoa value chain goes to farmers who grow the beans. So this question about justice and geography sits at the heart of my journey. So tonight I want to weave together 3 ideas. The courage of Lech Lecha, which is Hebrew for go forth, leaving home, leaving the familiar as a precondition to self-discovery. For those of you with a metaphysical bent, self-discovery can be thought of as coming face to face with the divine. The power of cross-cultural learning. And the third is how both Lech Lecha and cross-cultural learning led me, improbably, to chocolate. Lech Lecha is God's first command to Abram. Go forth from your native land. In Jewish life, revelation follows movement. You leave home first, then you discover who you are. Indeed, in the Torah, the prelude to a conversation with the divine was usually dependent on a person going forth, Lech Lecha, leaving home, leaving all that is comfortable and familiar. Thousands of years later, Robert Penn Warren said it another way. A fish doesn't think about water until he's out of it. Excuse me. For me, at the age of 16, it was time for me to consider who I was, the kind of person I wanted to become, to reflect upon that elusive concept of what it might mean to be a citizen of the United States of America. It was time for me to get out of the water. So at the age of 16, I applied for and I won an AFS foreign exchange scholarship. I was sent to live with the Broby family in the town of Sunyani, Ghana, in West Africa. Now, the Brobys were traditional in many ways. For starters, my host father had 3 wives and 21 children. Anyone who figures out which one I am gets a free hot chocolate at the Oneg. So we ate outside every day, cooking over an open fire. And in a sort of curious preemptive salute to the celebration of the U.S. Independence Day, well, on July 3rd, 1978, the existing military government of Ghana was overthrown by a military coup d'etat. So it would be easy to assume from these facts that Ghana was a very different place from my hometown of Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin. But that would be wrong. Compared with these rather striking accents, the mosaic that is my Ghana experience is made up of largely unremarkable bits of stone and glass. I have only to close my eyes and I'm transported back to a Ghana both evocative and magical. I awake to the sound of roosters cawing in the fresh morning light. And I see my host father shaving in the courtyard of our compound, his young daughters bringing him hot water from the charcoal fire, and big Yao Broby, shirtless, smiling, massaging his Santa Claus belly, extemporizing on everything from life, love, and commerce. I still walk through the town of Sunyani to my best friend Isaac's house and help his mother bake bread in the mud oven behind their home. The BBC World Service on the radio, competing with their neighbor's Bob Marley cassette, creating a rich, if ironic, stew, 1 part colonial porridge and 2 parts reggae pepper. School children run over to me yelling, "Kwesi Bruni, white man, white man." So unusual was it to see a white face in Sunyani in 1978. "Good morning, sir," they'd exclaim as they'd practice their English. And they'd press their chubby little fingers into my tan skin to watch it blush pink at their touch. Well, at the end of the stay, the AFS program brought me from the village of Sunyani to the capital city of Accra and placed me with an Arab family, a highly unusual placement at the time. I learned much later that the organizers debated the wisdom of placing a Jewish student in an Arab home. My host father, Shafiq Natafji, a practicing Muslim, came to Ghana as a refugee displaced from Lebanon. This is my favorite picture of the two of us. The organizers need not have worried. For one glorious week, Shafiq and Ethel Natafji added a Jewish son to their family, joining son Samir and his 4 lovely and very well-protected daughters, Samira, Samia, Salimi, and Maha. And though I left Ghana after 3 months, Ghana never left me. During and after college, I wanted to find a way to go back with purpose. I wanted to make international issues a focus of my intellectual and professional life. I considered joining the Foreign Service, but the chances of rotating to Ghana in particular were slim. So as I began to work, first as a lawyer and then in business, I came to realize that building a business in Ghana, my own business, would be the best way to allow me to return with purpose. So Ghana has gold, diamonds, and bauxite, but I had no money to start a mining company, and moreover, I lacked the technical skills to do so. But it's then when I learned that Ghana also grows what are regarded as the world's finest cocoa beans. And yet, Ghana struggles because the value of the country's cocoa exports is largely determined by events beyond the control of most Ghanaians. The vagaries of world commodity markets are governed by factors such as weather and crop parasites, all of which affect the world's supply of cocoa and thus greatly influence the price that a Ghanaian cocoa farmer receives for their beans. So they could work hard, they could be lazy, it almost doesn't matter. Well, I wanted to use my expertise, such as it was, to create a product whose selling price would not be so closely linked to world commodity price pressure. To the extent I could do so, I thought both my Ghanaian partners and I might benefit. It hit me all at once. Chocolate bars. Now, why hadn't Ghana tried to develop chocolate bars to compete on the world market? Once I considered the idea of chocolate bars made in Ghana, I simply couldn't let go. Well, sure, Switzerland makes fine chocolate, but how many cocoa trees grow in Zurich? Well, none, of course. But by manufacturing in Ghana, a country of origin where the beans are grown, we could, within a matter of days, take fresh cocoa beans, ferment them in the traditional manner between banana leaves on the forest floor, then dry the beans in the warm African sun before carefully roasting them at our factory, located just a short distance from the farms where these magical beans are grown. I had always enjoyed cooking, but I had no formal training in food science. Nonetheless, I set about to follow my bliss. It became a 34-year odyssey that would ultimately test all of my faculties. It has not been easy, and 34 years is hardly an overnight success. Indeed, had I been working for Nestle's or Ambrosia or Hershey's, let's be honest, I would have been fired a long time ago. Truly, I believe that the Omanhini venture is one that could only succeed in an entrepreneurial setting, and that the sensibilities I gained from Ghana when I lived there in high school on my Lech Lecha going forth journey gave me a rare insight into Ghanaian culture and tradition, and it laid the groundwork for the establishment of my company. So let's visit a cocoa farm in Ghana. Continent of Africa, Ghana is in the west coast, used to be called the Gold Coast when it was a British colony, which tells you how valuable things are in the soil of Ghana. And Ghana in any given year is the first or second largest grower of cocoa on the entire planet. But cocoa is only grown about 20% of the country. Where I lived as a student in Sunyani was in the northwest corner of this red area. Cocoa grows on a tree. It's about the size of an apple tree in these pods. They ripen. You split them open, and you find seeds. So when we talk about cocoa beans, they're actually seeds, much like a pumpkin seed. They have a white mucilage on them. We take those out, we ferment them on the forest floor, then we dry them. This is right at the cocoa farm, and they turn that beautiful maroon, brown, or purple that you're used to thinking of when you think of a cocoa bean. We get them to our factory, we roast the bean, we chop it up, we kibble it and form cocoa nibs. We compress the nibs under heat and pressure. They liquefy. We separate the cocoa liquor, the cocoa butter. What's left is something called cocoa cake, which we pulverize to make cocoa powder. Cocoa powder is the secret ingredient of hot chocolate drink mix, which you're going to sample at the ONEG. And then you recombine the butter in the liquor plus sugar to make a chocolate bar. This is our very first factory in Ghana. This is circa 1994, 1995. We employ all Ghanaian staff. And at the end of the day, what we do right and what we really do now, we've morphed from chocolate bars to specialty cocoa powders that we sell at specialty coffee places. So this is something you could get at Anodyne or Colectivo if you get a mocha or a mochaccino or a hot chocolate. So now you see that the transformation of a cocoa bean into finished chocolate is made possible through great pressure and a careful kabuki dance of raising the temperature and lowering it just right so the finished chocolate sets precisely. Now there's 6 different crystal structures that are possible as liquid chocolate cools, and only one of the 6 gives you what we call fine chocolate, chocolate with snap, a perfect shine, and a perfect strength. You know, I'm reminded of the world's most famous Jewish patent clerk. Anybody? Albert Einstein. He said, "I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious." He was being humble. When I tell you I have no special talent, I'm telling you the truth. But I am curious, and curiosity is the hallmark of a person able to live with creative tension and a person always open to see the full range of possible outcomes. So speaking of creative tension, I want to introduce you to a remarkable woman, Professor Hilde Schramm, who is a noted Green Party politician in Germany. She served as vice president in the Berlin Parliament. She's a sociologist who has devoted herself to Holocaust reparations work. And she established a documentation center on the Gestapo to support that, and a foundation to help Jewish women in the arts, all in Germany. But there are 2 more things you need to know about Dr. Hilde Schramm. First, she is the eldest daughter of Nazi architect and munitions minister Albert Speer, who was convicted at the Nuremberg trials and spent many years at Spandau prison. She is the daughter of a convicted Nazi. Second, Hilda Schramm spent a year in an American high school on the same AFS program that sent me to Ghana. So we go from Nazi to humanitarian in one generation, in one family. One high school exchange, one changed life, one ripple across history. Perhaps we can likewise change our world in one generation. As I reflect on 34 years running the Omanhini Cocoa Bean Company, our core beliefs remain valid. I still believe you do what you do best and you trade for the rest. You compete on quality, you add value locally, and you build self-sustaining enterprises where you can rather than charities. We hired and trained Ghanaian workers, provided uniforms, hot meals, medical care, even housing support, not as charity, but because we valued our employees. We joined the United Nations Global Compact, pledging fair labor, environmental responsibility, and transparency, and we learned that sometimes corporations can be forces for good. Indeed, for decades, think about it, especially after World War II, globalization wore a hero's cape. Think of the Marshall Plan, rebuilding Europe through economic interdependence. But by the 1990s, the world had curdled. Globalization came to mean overseas sweatshops and vanishing local jobs. So which is it? Is globalism good or bad? The answer is both. Trade can lift, trade can exploit. Multinationals can behave badly, but they can also bring capital, training, and opportunity, and our task is to tilt the system towards dignity. And sometimes that tilt comes not from governments or multinational corporations, but from single individuals. Take, for example, the tens of thousands of Ghanaian expatriates living in the US, Canada, and the UK, many of whom earn very modest salaries. They work as cab drivers and hotel maids, and they quietly send a bit of money home each week via mobile money apps. In Ghana, these are called private remittances, and they pay school fees, medicine, food, money for a plot of land for a family member to build a house, all without any bureaucracy or grand strategic plans. There's no administrative overhead, just a whole lot of cab drivers sending $40 a week back home with a click of a button on their smartphones. This uncoordinated group of many often outperform the coordinated and organized and entrenched few. So let's look for a moment how significant this individual effort is. So the US government provided $192 million in foreign aid to Ghana in 2023. And this includes all military aid, food aid, health aid, every conceivable kind of assistance, $192 million. But your local cab driver, $4.8 billion the same year, as if by magic, most in $10, $20, and $40 increments. So as influential as we think governments and aid agencies are, the US government only supplies 4% of this kind of capital inflow into Ghana. 96% comes from the uncoordinated many. So let's never forget how much impact individuals have when we work together. When we wander into another culture, taste new foods, learn new languages, navigate misunderstanding, we temper our own humanity. And just like chocolate, we make our humanity stronger and shinier. We gain empathy. We see that the world is not divided into us versus them, but we understand that we're connected by invisible threads of trade and culture and curiosity. You know, we used to picture leadership as outsized individuals striding across the world stage, an FDR, a Churchill, or a Nelson Mandela. But today, leadership may be less personality-driven and more braided, where governments set the rules, businesses mobilize talent and capital, and non-governmental organizations and faith communities go where markets won't. And individuals, cab drivers, nurses, teachers, hotel maids, move the world through small, relentless acts of overwhelming generosity. So in this new world chorus, a company like Oman Hini sings a modest part. We prove that I think world-class products can be made where raw materials originate. We treat workers as partners, and we remind our customers that every purchase is a moral act. So please ask questions about the products you buy, who made them, who benefits, support businesses that share the wealth and raise standards, invest in curiosity, in exchange programs, study abroad scholarships, anything that lets a person go forth and come back changed, because someone once did that for Hilda Schramm, and they did it for me. And if you want to support Oman Hini's partners, please patronize your local Sendik's, your Outpost Natural Foods, your Woodman's. That's where you can find Oman Hini hot cocoa mix. And next time you're at Collectivo or Anodyne, thank them for using Oman Hini hot cocoa mix behind the counter. So we began with the Hebrew command, tzedek, tzedek, tirdof, justice, justice, shall you pursue? Well, the repetition matters. Once for the world outside, and once for the motives inside. Lech lecha, go forth. Leave what's comfortable, ask good questions, wander with purpose, hold paradox happily and without panic. Build where you stand, and if you can, build where the cocoa grows. Because when you wander well, you don't get lost, you find new ways home. And sometimes, if you're lucky, the way home tastes like chocolate. So I leave you with this. Many people are concerned about what the future of global leadership will look like. What role will the U.S. play in the next 50 years? What role will governments play? What role will these ever larger multinational corporations play? But perhaps the future of global leadership is closer than we think. Perhaps it's much, much closer. For as we sit here today in the Harry and Rose Sampson Sanctuary at Congregation Shalom, the center of the universe, you are the best, most promising, and perhaps last hope for a more just, more prosperous, and more peaceful world. Thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom.
Steve, thank you so much. It is truly a reminder of just how fortunate we have been to have your leadership in the past and also into the future. Susie, thank you so much. You are exactly right about this choice for this evening. You knew that Steve would be remarkable, and I so appreciate your leadership as well. Thank you, Steve, truly. It is not only a joy to hear you speak about what your experiences have been, but also to see you up on this bima, knowing that you've dedicated so much of your time and energy and efforts to making Congregation Shalom just that much more sweet, too. So thank you. And so before we conclude this evening and we go to enjoy a really, truly wonderful Oneg experience that can be found in Clearfield Hall, we are going to conclude with Kiddush. And I'm going to invite you all to rise. Certainly our cup is overflowing with tremendous blessings. Steve, if you would lift the Kiddush cup high, and Megan, if you would lead us in the Kiddush together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'rotzavanu v'shabbat kodsho Biava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron hamase v'reishit ki hu yom tehila lema'e kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim ki vanu v'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikohanim v'shabbat kodecha bi'ava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mikadesh hashabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. And let us conclude with these words of peace. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you. I mean, what a gift. That was just